Good morning. The Prime Minister's Independence Day address was, as usual, full of paradoxes. The Prime Minister was his usual self, name-calling, saying all sorts of things that really are not in the realm of reality. The Prime Minister speaks about adequate health care. And as we speak, there are two hospitals. One, the Prime Minister refuses to open, and another one, the Prime Minister refuses to continue construction. The Prime Minister speaks about state-of-the-art playing facilities, and he hasn't told the public how much it costs the consultants for the renderings and the drawings that he showed last week. But why is the Prime Minister saying that? Two of the main facilities in the country, the facilities that exist right now, there is no water, and sports activities have to be postponed because the government has failed to pay the utility bills of these facilities. While the Prime Minister speaks about facilities, there are playing fields in the island that are in need of the grass needs to be cut. The lights, the people who play on the martial grounds cannot play on evenings because the government fails to pay the utility bills. A speech full of paradoxes. The Prime Minister speaks about OJO Labs and investments, but he hasn't told the public that it costs the taxpayer of St. Lucia millions of dollars to keep OJO Lab open. If OJO Labs was such an investment that had such great return, why is it possible? Why did the government have to pay an investor to make a profit in the country? Prime Minister continues to speak about DSH, but as you saw for yourself, private people are raising great concerns about DSH, and the Prime Minister refuses to answer the basic questions. The Prime Minister's answers are renderings and drawings. The basic questions that the people are asking, the Prime Minister refuses to answer. So all in all, the Prime Minister's address was much of the same, name-calling, paradoxes, and basically trying to tell St. Lucians what really is not the reality that exists in the country as we know it and as we live in it. I'll then take the questions.
In the wake of the Prime Minister's address, I've listened to Brad, and there's been some suggestion that it was overly political and very divisive for an independent speech, which is supposed to promote unity and provide a glimmer of hope for the people. Do you agree?
Well, I'm not surprised. The whole modus operandi of the government is vindictiveness, is making you cry, is ostracizing the opposition, is refusal to follow the norms and conventions of democratic government. Up to today, the Prime Minister has not appointed a deputy speaker. Up to today, the Prime Minister has not consulted the leader of the opposition on the appointment of the Governor General. Up to today, the Prime Minister has not appointed an integrity commission. So we are not surprised. That is the modus operandi of the government. Vindictiveness and ostracizing a large part of the population of St. Lucia. So we are definitely not surprised.
You did mention the OJO Labs. You called it an innovative project. What do you think?
Of course, AI is surely innovative. But the question is, if it's so innovative, why do taxpayers of the country have to pay for it? It ought to be able to pay itself. Why do taxpayers have to pay millions of dollars for an investment? That is the question. No one is doubting that AI may be good, but fact is, all we've heard is that what they've opened in Viewport is, up to now, only a call center. But I'll be happy. I've made a point several times that the opposition does not want St. Lucia to fail. The opposition wants St. Lucia to be a bustling, bright, innovative country and a very happy people. But fact is, the people of St. Lucia must not be taken for a ride. We've heard the dreams of hotels. Sometimes I don't know if you recall, members of the press, there was a call sometime when they said, the Prime Minister said, when the Minister of Tourism, that they would have built 7 hotels in Mico. I don't know if you recall. I have not seen one. So the question is, the Prime Minister must come to reality and talk to the people of the country, talk to the people of the South about the DSS project, talk to the people in the health services about opening the Owen King Hospital, continue work on the St. Jude's Hospital, and he must serve as a force to unite the country, not a force to divide the country, which is clearly what he's doing with the vindictiveness of the government.
What do you make of the activities of the League of Independence in the South meeting and yesterday's Save Our Beaches, I think, League activity?
Well, it's the point I'm making. These are private citizens. These were not sponsored by our party. These are private citizens expressing grave concern on where our country is going. And the Prime Minister should take warning. And speaking about being of causing our country to be divided, up to today, the Prime Minister has not reinstated the subvention to the National Trust. Up to today. And you speak about the environment. The government, in a very vindictive fashion, removed the subvention from the National Trust. And in the same speech, the Prime Minister speaks about Sir John Compton. It was Sir John Compton who gave the National Trust its first subvention. And this is the same Prime Minister who speaks about Sir John Compton, but the subvention given to the National Trust by Sir John Compton, the Prime Minister stops it. The St. Lucia party, which have the honor and the pleasure to lead at this time.
Right. Oppose independence.
The Prime Minister, you see, I'll tell you something, the Prime Minister hasn't lived in St. Lucia for a while. The Prime Minister doesn't understand. You see, you can't blame the Prime Minister. He hasn't lived in St. Lucia. He doesn't understand St. Lucia. He doesn't know what St. Lucia is all about. The Prime Minister has been very lucky. He's not St. Lucian. He's not of St. Lucia. The Labour Party at the time never opposed independence. There was a program called NIBI, No Independence Before Elections. That was the thrust of the Labour Party's, of the then Labour Party's mission or its motion, no independence for elections. And it's again paradoxical. Peter Josie, who was the lead in that event, and look at where Peter Josie is. So you understand, these are the paradoxes. But you can't blame the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister doesn't understand St. Lucia. He hasn't lived in St. Lucia. That's his basic problem. Not understanding the culture, the nature, the spirit, the Lucianism that we feel. The Prime Minister cannot feel it.
It's something I want to bring your attention. It's something to do with that. And we spoke about the retention of that.